time to reflect.
Nigel, what is your fondest memory of your time in IndyCar racing?
My fondest memory, I think, really has got to be the first race down in Australia. Having gone to Australia for many times in Formula One and not winning there, to go for the first race, to put it on pole position and to win that race. And, you know, you can say that very quickly, it's not very meaningful. But then to add this, that, you know, it's the first time anybody's done that in the 84-year history or 85-year history now of the sport. But to sort of tread new ground and make history for the first time, I think that's what's so special.
Purely from the driving side, how will this experience, do you think, benefit you in the future?
I think immensely, really, because, I mean, I spent a number of years, 12, 13 years in Formula One. I've had a couple of years over here with different circuits, different techniques, different cars. Certainly different people, and you put everything together in the melting pot and you can actually come up with something really special. What this has done for me the last 2 years, especially on the super speedway, on the ovals, you can set the car up in a specific way for a fast corner to benefit yourself from it. And I think maybe I can take a little bit of that back with me to Formula One and perhaps do perhaps an even better job than I did before.
A few thoughts, Nigel, on some of the people you've worked closely with over the last 2 years, starting, of course, with Paul Newman.
Well, what can you say? I mean, Paul Newman is a legend in his own time, and the charisma of the man, the professionalism of the man. And what I liked about Paul the most is how genuine he is, how down to earth, and thoroughly enjoyed working for him, with him. And you know, I'm pleased to say that we're very good friends.
On some occasions the car hasn't really been up to the task, and he's a real driver because he carries the car, and that's the real measure of it.
As you're a driver yourself, what do you see as his strengths?
Well, he has an extraordinary instinct in traffic, for one thing, and he's extremely accurate with his setup. I'm just sorry that this year the Penske car was really superior, but next year is next year. We're going to miss him.
On a personal level, will you miss him?
We're going to miss him a lot, yes.
And of course Carl Haas. I mean, again, what a track record Carl's had with winning many formulas over the years, forming his own team many years ago, trying his hand in Formula One. I mean, he's got a good pedigree and a very, very true to his word man. I get on with him very, very well.
This 94 has been a disappointing season. I think it probably looks different from the outside and from the inside because there's many races he could have won, and circumstances just prevented it for whatever reason. We're leaving on very good terms, and I wish him the very best.
What about Jim McGee, Nigel? What part did he play in your success?
Well, Jim McGee played a very, very big part in the championship last year, and you know, our sanity this year, I think. G is an incredible professional. I think he's won something like over 50 races and 9 championships in his career. But perfect gentleman and thoroughbred professional.
Nigel's been around racing as long as I have. I've been around a little bit longer, but you have the years where things seem to fall in place, and there's other years when, you know, you just have all kinds of incidents, whether it's crashes or flat tires or people spinning in front of you or, you know, little foolish things. But, you know, throughout it all, I think Nigel has been totally a pleasure, absolutely professional, and probably the greatest driver I've ever worked with.
To send a message back to the folks in Formula One who perhaps wonder whether Nigel is as quick as he was when he first joined you. Is he?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been a little bit behind in the cars this year. We've had opportunities to win some races, and we just didn't capitalize on them. But, you know, all in all, I think that I thoroughly enjoyed this season as much as last. And, you know, it's just, I think if you ask the rest of the team, the crew, everybody involved with Nigel, there isn't anybody that can't say enough about how professional he's been and what a gentleman.
You've been very close to your mechanics, your boys, as you call them, and one of them, Norm, you've managed to be probably the only person who's ever taken money off you at a bet. How close did you get to those guys?
Very close. You know, the thing is, which is the biggest compliment I can give to them, is that you could transport most of them, if not all of them, straight across to a top Formula One team, and you wouldn't know the difference. You know, because that's how professional they are, the enthusiasm. They're thoroughbred racers through and through, and whatever it takes to get the job done, whatever hours they've got to put in, they do it. And I feel very, very comfortable indeed having all those guys on my car.
He is by far the most talented athlete I've ever worked with that's a racing driver. Everything he does is easy. Driving a racing car is easy. Picking up a golf club is easy. Picking up a soccer ball is easy. He played around with softball last year. There was some pre-hitting at Mid-Ohio last year when he hit the thing a mile. He's just incredibly fast. He's a very good tester, very good at relating exactly what's going on with a car, and he doesn't hang around. And you can always tell if you've made a change and it's better, you go faster. It's black and white with him. There's no gray. That probably maybe sums him up the best anyway. It's black and white.
He's world class, and he's just been great to work with.
The biggest personality amongst Nigel's mechanics, Norm, nicknamed after the character in Cheers. He's not quite as big now. His slimming campaign over the year cost Nigel a few bucks after a pre-season bet.
I'll see it. He wants to know.
My spaghetti sauce.
Did you not know?
Yeah, Nigel makes work fun, and making the money made it even twice as fun. I got nothing but good things to say about Nigel. Missing him is going to be an understatement.
Oh, he's really easy. Easiest guy I ever worked for. Very satisfying.
He's very intelligent. He can come in and tell you exactly what the car is doing. Some guys kind of round off the corners, so to speak, and don't give you a very accurate description. He can come in and tell you exactly what's going on.
He's a consummate gentleman. He's treated the guys here fantastic. I'm going to miss him a lot.
Sad to see him go, but wish him well back over in Formula One.
True sportsman and a gentleman. It's been a pleasure working with him for the past 2 years, and I wish him nothing but success in his future ventures.
I really would like to work with him again. I'm very sorry he's leaving, actually, because I think he's a fantastic guy.
You know, I've worked with the Foyts and the Andretti's and all of them, and he's the best I've ever been around, or I'm proud to even be associated with him.
On a professional level, I think that the whole sport is going to be missing him a whole lot. I think he took IndyCar to a different level. And on a personal note, I'm not just going to miss him. I think Roseanne, Chloe, Greg, and Leo. It was an experience I will not forget.
Jack, is there anything in particular you've learned from Nigel?
Yes, there is. How to make a decent cup of hot tea, and I even enjoy it myself now.
Seems to have an ability to do things that just by sheer will, even when the car may not be perfect, he just seems to be able to call up some sort of reserve and accomplish anything that he wants. So it's pretty amazing.
I'm very unhappy that he's leaving. I'd like to keep him for as many years as he'd like to drive.
He's a natural. He just attracts people, and his kindness and his understanding, everything that you look for in a professional. I mean, everything that means racing.
Michael Knight, PR for Newman Haas, has never known 2 years like it.
You know, I think my favorite memory of all with Nigel was when he won the race in Australia in 1993, and when we were going to the media interview center after the race, it would have been normally a 3 or a 4 minute walk from where we were, and the crowds that surrounded Nigel in the golf cart trying to get over to the interview center, it made it about a 15-minute trip. Matter of fact, about a dozen soldiers from the Australian Army surrounded the golf cart to try to inch his way through this crowd of hundreds of people, and we were using the bullhorn and so forth to try to make room, and I was standing on the back of the golf cart watching this whole scene, and I said to myself, I think this is what it must have been like when Elvis was king.
And just time for a few final thoughts on the American adventure before the return to Formula One.
Very proud, very privileged to have had 2 exciting years here with Carl Haas and Paul Newman. Very sad, very happy.
So the future beckons in the familiar surroundings of Formula One with Williams for the last 3 races of the season.